Alright guys, I had the chance to check out one of these brand new 2023 Trek Madone's 7th generation bikes, and man is this a cool bike. Shout out to my local Trek store in Naperville, Illinois for lending me this bike for a few minutes to check it out with you guys. I didn't actually ride it, I've only had the opportunity to look at it because it is absolutely freezing cold in Chicago, but just checking out the frame here, there's a few things that I wanted to share with you guys. First of all, the paint job on this bike is super cool, and I'm actually really surprised to say that because I was thinking this baby blue looking paint job was going to be kind of weird and silly looking, but I am thoroughly blown away by it. And again, this just kind of upholds my opinion that Trek really has some of the best paint jobs in the industry. I really commend them on that. So let's just take a quick look at the frame features then. Of course, the first thing everyone talks about is the new ISOFlow. So this is the brand new, never before seen ISOFlow technology that was designed specifically with the 7th generation Trek Madone in mind. And there's a few benefits that this offers. So first of all, of course, you have the improved aerodynamics and then the weight savings. There's just simply less material here. And then also it's supposed to smooth your ride a bit. And the reason why it smooths the ride is because it helps the seat mast to flex a bit for just adding that extra comfort. It's going to make it less rigid, less stiff. And so I take them at their word. I haven't actually tried this, but the previous Madone Generation 6 was among the most comfortable aero bikes I've ever ridden. So I assume it's just going to be an improvement on that. So super exciting. The frame is also going to be the super lightweight 800 series OCLV carbon. So combined with the super lightweight carbon and the new lightweight design, this is going to be the lightest Madone pretty much ever made, which is pretty exciting because the previous Madone was actually fairly heavy in comparison. This unit here is a size 56, and this one in particular is weighing just a hair over 17 pounds, so that is pretty darn light. So now looking at the handlebar. So now this is going to be a newly optimized bar and stem combo that's going to be actually 3 centimeters narrower in the hoods than it is in the drops. So basically the drops flare out a bit, which I really like. I think that's a much better design in general, and I think the trend for road bikes in general is going to be to move in that direction. They say that when choosing a handlebar for this Madone, you should continue to use whatever size width you normally use. However, you should measure it in the drops and not the hoods. So if you normally run a 42 centimeter wide handlebar, for example, you should look for a handlebar that's also 42 centimeters wide for this Madone. But again, just make sure it's measured in the drops and not the hoods. So the hoods are going to be a little bit tighter, and they say that gives you a little more control, a little more stability. And of course, when you have the drops flared out, it's going to make accessing the drops easier and safer. So I'm really excited for that improvement there. Another thing you'll notice is that the handlebar includes an integrated blender stem, which allows you to clip your accessories directly onto the stem, so it looks super nice and clean and integrated. The overall fit of the bike is the Trek H1.5 fit, so that's going to mean it's a combination between their racy and endurance fit. Now, I haven't ridden this bike in particular, but I have ridden the previous Madone, and the previous Madone, I can say, was actually a very comfortable ride, both in terms of stiffness and also body position. So if that previous Madone is anything to go by, I'm sure this one's going to be awesome as well. And that's a really cool feature with the Madones, is the fact that they're aero, but also fairly comfortable as well. Okay, so the group set on this particular model is going to be the 105 11-speed Di2 throughout. So it's going to be the 105 drifter levers at the top, the 105 drivetrain, the 105 cassette, derailleurs, all that kind of stuff. I think that's as high as you really have to go. I think the group set here is absolutely wonderful. Looking at the wheels, these are going to be the Bontrager ALS Pro 51 carbon wheels. So they are going to be carbon fiber, which again is helping reduce that weight quite a bit. And then the tires that ship stock with this bike are going to be the Bontrager R3 hard case light 28 millimeter tires. Looks like 28 mil is becoming more and more the standard. These aero bikes previously used to ship with mostly 25 millimeters, sometimes even 23, but looks like we're seeing the industry move more toward 28. So again, that should make this bike even more comfortable than the previous generations of this bike, which would ship with the 25 mil. So that'll be pretty exciting to try out. The saddle that ships stock with this bike is the Bontrager Aeolus P2 Elite. It's either going to be a 145 millimeter wide or a 155 millimeter wide saddle, depending on the frame size you opt for. That seems fairly wide in my opinion. I'm pretty used to riding a super narrow 120 mil saddle, but that's an easy swap out if it doesn't work for you. Overall, every part of this bike is just better than the previous, and I love how it has the invisible cable routing, how it has the aero cockpit, how it has the hidden seat mast. Of course, if you do want to start traveling with this bike and all that, then the integration of the cables is going to work against you, and that would probably be a con, not a pro. But if you're mostly going to use this bike locally, then I think it's definitely a plus. Now let's talk about the price really quick, which is a absolutely whopping $8,000. And in my opinion, I really hate to say it, but man, that is a steep price. And I think that is just over the top. I really wish they could have brought this bike down to at least the 6K range, if not the 55K range. That would have made it way more accessible and just way more of a hot commodity. But unfortunately, I think 8K is sort of outpricing a lot of the market, and especially when you have bikes like the Cervelo S5, which sell for 9K, and that's the bike that won the Tour de France. Man, it's a hard ask that Trek is going for here. But that's just my opinion. Price is going to be relative to your budget. If you're a millionaire, then 8K is probably not a lot of money for you. If you're a meager peasant like the rest of us, then 8K is probably going to be out of reach. I don't know if I'd pay 8K for this, but putting the price aside, this bike is a really sick bike, and I cannot wait to review it. As soon as I do, you all will be the first to know, so be sure to like and subscribe for that. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.